That's a bunch as well. Okay then. Have it there, and I think I can still do the other one. At least this one. I hope it's doable. Okay, fuck off there. So, I was having problems with that whole segment. The beginning one was okay, but then the next one, not where pretty much where the first step happened, The second one was because of everything going on in here, because of more stuff going on. So yeah, it almost reminds me way back when, where I had similar difficulties within just a default note screen. I think ITG wasn't even there yet. Max Unlimited. Geesh, those folds. Fuck's sake, with those green holes, who can read those? Also, why is this a 7 if it's clearly a 9? For fuck's sake, someone is a moron. Also, I heard that. Curtains. That is something else. And a whole bunch of there. Jeez. Stop it with the lagging as well. Also, no background. Have it there. I'm not doing the 7 there because that's a bit much. Also, I forgot to announce it somewhere else, so whoops on that one. There may be also a reason why there has been nothing going on here. Yeah, I mean, it's just the usual, but either way. What is going on backstage? So what the hell is going on here? A bit much. Yeah, I'm not even going there. Is okay. What the hell is going on with the BPMs as well? What the hell? Oh, sound mastering. This might be just a one and done. PFC, and yeah, I have it on 20 on my end, so geez. You know what, it was actually okay-ish, so let's go over in here. Of course, I have an idea on what's going on at the end there. that was something at least. In terms of things, also, initial combo was broken because I was irritated by the mouse that I had in between, in front of stuff. So let's check. Hey. Pretty much another. Completely different. Well, I needed to mash my way through, so of course. Also, it was quite shorter than usual. Which is another something in terms of I should be then cutting stuff in here. So I may need to check on things in terms of how to deal with stuff that way. Because certainly the max length of stuff is pretty much not the same everywhere, so yeah, I very much need to check on how to get stuff in here. Also, apparently that has been listed as something else, but why is that there? Ah, Lost Soul, and it's pretty much there. The Lost. That is the reason, because of you. Well, I was about to say, am I already on T? That's a bit. Something that's a 5, that's actually a 3. What the hell is going on here? I did that on purpose. What has been set to 5? Yeah, it is actually a 3. Geesh, what the hell? And of course there's stuff going on at the end there mostly, I'm assuming. I pretty much can guess. God damn it. I could have potentially bullshitted my way through it the last few seconds, but nah. I was trying, but I failed. Almost, but of course it was the end section that's been there, and it is going to be something, alright. Yeah, I would be potentially saying it might be a 3-hour session. Unlike last time, because there had been too much stuff. usual stuff. A little bit playing around. What we were potentially saying, yeah, maybe a 3. There isn't much more edit here, but still I have to go through. Okay, also in terms of stuff, I did not mention that one, but the reason why I have everything on only Fantastics is because of the fact that I wanted to check certain something that because of Y3 that I wanted to include. It can't be turned on after a certain version of Outfox, because after that version it broke because of holds, and that was the reason. I was simulating max points. That's how I pretty much checked. some sound got eaten? Maybe. Because I was hearing a certain something that was usually in the background, not anymore. I'm not sure if it's because it hasn't just not been included anywhere in here, or it has been put somewhere which is pretty much deemed don't need to load, so yeah. Either that or there has been something else there. Either way. Also, I'm going to check how many I still need to go through. Not many. 1, 10. Pretty much just 10. So pretty much I'm already over the halfway point, so it will be just about an hour, I think. I won't be doing that one level 8 there, so it's only 2 ones in here. Also PP, nah, it's in the beginning, so it should be fine. Is there something not loaded in here? I've heard somewhere, I'm not really sure what the reason for that one was. Either way, this I might have an idea where stuff is. Also G.S.H again. I just now noticed. Could have actually remained level. BPM 100 at max, not 200, or could have actually stayed at 50. That is the reason why it has been that here. Because the only reason it's a 6 even, because everything else is easy. The fuck is going on in the background? Okay, first of all, this the fuck is going on back there? Really not sure. It seems like it comes from the parents' bedroom, or pretty much the living room. Either that, or pretty much within the house's hallway, which is literally right next to me. The inside house hallway is pretty much in front of me. I have it shut with something that's trying to pretty much... It's pretty much something thick pretty much behind the door, so even though I don't really need to use that, but still. Second thing, the step shot in here is reminiscent of how I am doing mine, at least on Step Mania, aka on dance mode. Because there, repetition can be something, and or potentially because of the patterns. Because, whoops on that one. Because usually I go almost like in here piano mode. Low notes on the left side, high notes on the right side. Depending, I maybe switch up the middle two with one another. Or I pretty much make a staircase going from up, down, or down, up. Otherwise, I am pretty much doing binary stuff in terms of the ones and zeros pretty much, in terms of, yeah, like how 5 is 101, depending which side pretty much has to stuff there. And yeah, pretty much get stuff going there, somewhat around there, where there's at least, well, the ones representing the steps, so of course it has to be there. So this is pretty much everything in here. God damn it, I have to do all 3 of them. This may be going over 3 hours a bit. There was only a hi-hat there. We'll be doing this several times apparently because of how it has been set in here. Also, it is not a 1, it's a 2, but still don't have beginners that easy. No, actually, since it's a 2, have it actually set as a 2. Okay, then. I have everything here. I got that one, I think. Oh, this one is pretty much another thing where I would be saying where I would have almost complained, but it still counts as a 2. Okay, 150 in total. So I'm going to say something, and that one pretty much depends on how long the song is. I'm not really sure if it counts as a long. It is a long, so there I would be potentially saying it. I would be potentially saying the one is because of what is pretty much yeah, total over in here. So even there, it is pretty much a little bit going over, so maybe it reached that threshold. Ah, I'm not supposed to be here. God damn it. I should be here. Whoops. There. There. Several scratches broke my combo. That one decent, I am not even sure where that happened. More hands. Wasn't paying attention at that point, whoops. Bleh. Yeah, everything was on par except the first one, was it? Otherwise it would have actually been there. Another something which is literally everything. What the fuck, guys? Also, what has been said here? The 2 was actually a 1. The hell? Okay, I might have a reason why it hasn't pushed to a 2 because of the rhythm. SPS is pretty much just in terms of how dense is it, and depending on that between steps overall, that's the reason. And everywhere it's just -1. Hell. wasn't much. So yeah, the hardest one was going to be there. Also in terms of everything, it's might be a 4-hour session. That could have been done a bit more in here, but apparently, Jesus, also the straight 90. Apparently, I'm not really sure if stuff has been complained in terms of stuff being too hard, but still, I say that now pretty much because, gee, what the hell? It's the only one I can, at least in terms of stuff I'm going through quicker. Geez. That was a bit much. It was also the hard part, I think. I'm not really sure if there actually was anything else there afterwards. Still. The fuck here? Apparently there is nothing and there is apparently something, but it's actually just nothing. Either way. Oh, the next one, the last three, I think, are going to be something potentially. Okay. Is the only one for this song though. Also, potentially a 5. Everything else is too much. Here I can do those both. Everything else downstairs is something else though. already guessing this was just a hi-hat. Yeah, that one only though, since also since it sings, I'm not sure. It's depending. There could have potentially been holes here. Not even sure if there were holes to begin with. I was guessing something like this would be there for that. Utopia pattern. Pretty much a double rhythm. I was guessing something will be there. Everything else is just, So yeah, last three in he, and it's apparently just the hell. Also because of he, I'm just not saying anything. Also, everything in here is just being just there. Everything else is fine. Apparently it's just... Not even sure if it's supposed to be like this even. And that's beginner even. Yeah, I would be saying this is the reason why it's a 6. because of this bullshit. That's way too much. Okay, no, it is not much still, but it actually depends. Also, it's a 1. Straight up. Fuck, please. If it's perma offset, there was supposedly something for 2 sets. But that, I mean, I actually know of that one, but they're apparently the last 2 potentially. In that case, I can potentially still do this. Okay, also... I'm not sure. I just have a weird taste in my mouth. It might, also in terms of why does this, it might not even be an 8, so I may do everything on here. Oh, wait a fucking second. I think I know what actually happened here. The initial one was there at that position. Everything else is fine. The beginning, that's the reason why that was off. So that's the reason for that to be there. Because of the de-sing and everything, it pretty much synced itself in somewhat. What are we saying? It was the first time I got this far out? I think? Did I? Nah, it was here already as well, so I might be potentially saying this one is actually doable. Might actually be a 7 instead of an 8. Because I did that. So yeah. Obviously at times they don't know. And why is that set to be an 8? Because potentially some quick is going on. And potentially actually a whole bunch of scratches going on there, so going on there? Okay then. Last one, just to check if that one is was it actually in the doable range? It should be. So not sure what's going on here. Bing. Okay, that is pretty much it. So, the question is, can it still go through or not? The thing is, because of the artist thing that I did over in here, I am hoping that, you know what, I'm actually going to check there. Master, check there, evaluation, there. This course, that is just being there. So over in here, master index banner. So pretty much, if there is not a subtitle, I'm checking if there is actually anything over in here. So no, wait a second. I should be checking an end over in here. So yeah. I will be potentially having it there. If that and if sub artists exist and that, otherwise if artists exist then add that, otherwise it's just, yeah, title is always being added, but everything else, I hope this works. It's not. Okay, let's check if I can actually fix this one. Overall 55. I would be potentially saying it's checking it elsewhere. Oh, wait a second. Overall 55? It has... where exactly? Animation. So... it is within summary overlay there. Where? Just overall. So there 55. There. Apparently because of stuff it hadn't even been here, so that is already having difficulty. I am actually also checking if there is a meter there. I mean, I'm also checking if there is nothing there, so that it would be... yeah, nah, it shouldn't even be there, so yeah, I would be potentially saying because of everything being borked for whatever reason, it is not recoverable. Yeah, I leave it at that, and I hope next time stuff is actually fixed. So yeah, whatever.